Hi all, in this session we are going to learn about SDLC. Here the SDLC stands for Software Development Lifecycle. We are going to learn what do we mean by SDLC and where we are going to use this SDLC. Everything we are going to discuss in detail in this session. Let us understand what do we mean by SDLC. Here, if you have a requirement to implement any kind of project, assume the project will be a software. Assume the project will be a application. Whatever the thing it is, if you have a thought, if you want to implement the same in the software, then that will be called as a project. If you want to develop any kind of project, you need to follow some kind of procedures. There are different types of procedures or methodologies are there in the SDLC in order to development the project. What are the different types of methodologies are available? Like there are things waterfall methodology, agile methodology, iterative, spiral, and V model, and there are a lot of things are there. There are a lot of software development lifecycle methodologies are available over the market, but among all those, the most preferable methodology and majority of the organizations are used is SL. In earlier days, they are using waterfall method. As you know, how the waterfall method is from high to bottom. In the similar way, what are the disadvantages in the waterfall methodology? Suppose if any developer has developed the code, then until the developer completed the code, the tester need to be waited. Here there is a lot of dependency are there. So because of the dependency, the project development has been delayed. So in order to overcome this, the Agile comes into picture. Here, what the feature we will get from the Agile methodology, like the fast implementation of project, like it is it overcomes the difficulty of dependency. Simultaneously, if the developer has developed some content, immediately the tester will be able to test the same, and then after that the operations team will be able to check on it. So everything is simultaneously happened. So because of the additional features provided by the Agile methodology, companies are adopting the Agile methodology. And recently the DevOps trends means the DevOps is not a technology. It's a kind of process. With the help of the process, what it will become easier? The process becomes easier. Here, assume if you are going to develop some kind of project or application, assume some kind of Flipkart. You have most well-known applications are Flipkart, Amazon, Mintra. There are a lot of Paytm. There are a lot of web applications are there. Suppose if you have a thought in order to implement any kind of e-commerce website or web application. So if you have a thought, it need to be implemented. So how it will be implemented? You must need to choose some kind of methodology in order to implement the project. Okay. Here, assume you have chosen the Agile methodology in order to implement your project, but there are different phases in the methodology. The first stage is planning. If you have thought of web application in your mind, then you need to plan what are the prerequisites in order to develop the application. You need to plan each and everything. So once you have done the plan, you need to write the code for that plan. You have the assumption how your application will be there. So based on that, you have planned something. So based on the plan, we are going to write the code for that particular project. So once the code has been developed, done. Generally, who will develop the code? The developer team. So whatever the thought I have, I'm going to plan. I'm going to explain to the developers team. So based on the input, the developers team are going to write the code for that particular project. Once the code has been successfully written, they are going to build that code in order to check the code. If I want to test the code, first of all I need to build the code. So once the build is success, then the next thing is code testing. So here the testing team is there, the quality QA team or UAT team. So they are going to test on the code. Is that code is working properly? Is the code is functionality is working properly? Is there any bugs in the code? They are going to test each and everything. Whatever the developers has developed the code, The testers are going to test each and everything of the code. Once the testing team confirmed the code is worked properly and there are no bugs, then it is going for the deployment. Who will do the deployment? Here the deployment, the DevOps team comes into picture. Whoever once the code is ready, they are going to host on the either in cloud or on premises. Okay, they will do the deployment. So once the deployment is done, what the further thing we need to do? We need to monitor that code. Means right now the code is running fine and good, but tomorrow is there some error arises, then we need to resolve that error. So continuous monitoring is very important in order to make the application performance is good. So here there are a lot of phases involved in the methodologies. So if you assume any kind of project, there are some certain procedures or the uh, things are there. You just need to follow in order to effectively deliver the project. Just have a look on it. So initially we have plan, and once the plan is done, who will do the plan? The business, the team owner, whoever is giving the project to us, they are sitting with us and they are going to plan us. So once the plan is done, we are going to build the code, means develop the code and build the code. Once the build and code is success, then we are going to test the code. Once the test is success, we are going to deploy the code and we are going to monitor the code. Fine. What are the teams responsible here? Who is involved? What are the different types of teams are involved in this SDLC lifecycle? There are business teams are there. What the business teams will do? The business team will sit with the client and they will understand the client requirements, what the client is actually looking for, what kind of plan the client is having. So they will have closely work with the client and get the input from the client what he is looking for. So based on that client requirement, they are going to design the application. So once the plan is ready and design is ready, they will convey the same to the development team. Then the development team will comes into picture and they will write the code for that business. Like the developer team, what will do? They will develop some kind of logic. Whatever the plan which the client wants, based on the client requirement, the developers team write a logical code for that. So once the code has been successfully written, what they have done? They will move forward to the testing team. The testing team will do the testing, load test, bugs test. They are going to make the several testings on the code in order to check the performance of the code. Once the code has been successfully tested, here the operations team comes into picture. They are going to deploy the code. They are deploying the code to the cloud servers. If you have on-premises, they are going to deploy the on-premises servers. Whatever the thing are there, that will be taken care by the operations team. So once the code has been successfully deployed, the monitoring team will come into picture. They are going to monitor your application. If there are any issues, they will inform to you. Based on that, the operations team will respond to that queries and they will resolve the issues. Okay, the majority of the team, the majority of the organizations are going to follow the what they follow, agile approach or DevOps approach. Okay, and here there are something are there. So I'm going to show to you who are the involves, who will involve in a daily scrum meetings. Here I'm going to show to you. Just open the notepad. So here Scrum Master, product owner, developers. Assume you are developing some kind of project. Developers, testers, DevOps engineers. There are a lot of things are there. Okay, here just a moment, guys. Fine. Here, assume some project is going to be implemented. On daily wise, they are going to conduct some kind of meeting in order to understand in which phase the project is. In this meeting, it will be called as a daily stand-up meeting or Scrum meeting. Who are the participants in that meetings? Scrum Master. He is the master. He is going to take the inputs from the team. The project is in which stage? Is there any blockage? Is there any issues? How much task we have completed? There are a lot of things while we are going to implementing the projects. Entire the dashboard will be taken care by the Scrum Master and product owner. Whoever is the client, he is going to involve in that meeting, and he will let us know what the phase is going on, how much extent the project has been completed, what are the blockages, is there any issues. So that's why the product owner has been involved in that meetings. Developers, testers, DevOps, there are a lot of persons involved in these meetings on daily stand-up meetings in order to understood how the project is going on. Okay, so once that will be called as a daily stand-up meeting or Scrum meeting, and for each step, for each task, they are going to design some kind of meeting schedule. Because of, if I had scheduled one module, because of the entire project will be divided into multiple modules. If I am going to select one module, for each module there is a specific timelines are there. Because of, if we take one module, we are not going to suppose today the year or 2 years. We need to have to finish in a specific timelines. Generally the sprint meeting will be in the 2 to 4 weeks. Sprint, wherever you hear, you simply understand sprint is nothing but a time frame. It's a 2 to 4 weeks of time. Sprint is 2 to 4 weeks of time. Sprint plan, there will be a sprint plan, and the daily stand-up meeting will be called as a Scrum meeting. Okay, so in this way the SDLC has been involved. So generally the application architecture will be three-tier architecture. Let us understand about the architecture. Okay, no, we are going to open the, so close it, paint. So right now I am going to show to you the generally used architecture. 1, 2, 3. Generally, while we are developing any kind of application, we are going to choose the three-tier architecture. Okay, so here the first layer is web, and the second is application, and the third is database. Just a moment guys, I am going to delete and DBAS database. So here so who is the users? Users, users. Okay, fine. Here just please have a look on this. What will happen in the real-time environment? Generally, as you are assume you are an end user, you are going to access your Flipkart web application. Assume you are going to access your Flipkart web application. Generally, the generally in majority of the organizations are using the three-tier architecture. The one is web tier, application tier, database tier. In the web tier, we're going to place the front end of the application, means user interface. Here the user will be able to access the web server. From the web server, he will be able to get the user interface, and whatever the things which he has been visible here, the backend some kind of logic is running, that is called application code. For application, I am going to use some application server. in application server, I'm going to run my application, actual application, but the front end will be running in the web server. From the web server, I'm going to access the web application, means application server. Whatever the thing I'm going to perform the activities, the backend logic is working under the application layer. And if I want to save any kind of data over my application, suppose if you are a user, you are going to register your name under the application, where it is going to save in the database layer, like your name, your mobile number, your address. Because of if you are ordering anything, you need to save your basic details. Once you have saved your basic details, once you registered in the application, then you place a order, and it is also saved in somewhere. Where it will be saved? Database. From application server, you are going to access the database server, but obviously the end user will have the only access to access the web server only. From web server, it is accessing the web application in order to get the application logic. From web server, it is from application server, it is going to access the database server in order to store the data. In this way, the three-tier architecture will be functional. Okay, the almost end user is not able to access the database server directly, so he is going to access the web server. From the web server, whatever the functionalities, whatever the things he made, that has been getting from the application server. If you want to save the data, it will be saved in the database server, but user can't be able to save the database server. It is always running in the backend. Okay, and if you think about the network logic, so here the database layer and the application layer are in the private subnets. We will have some kind of detailed discussion in the upcoming sessions. Private subnet. Private subnet means in the name itself suggests nobody will be able to access. Only the internal employees or whoever is in the same network only will be able to access these kind of applications. But the web server is in the public subnet, means all the users, public subnet means the web server will be exposed to the public internet, means the users will be able to connect to my web server from public internet. From web server, I am going to connect to the application server and database server, but user cannot be able to access the database server and the application server. He only will be connecting to the web server only. Okay, this is the logic which will be developed in the real-time architecture. Okay, hope you guys understood what is SDLC and what is a three-tier architecture and what is the different types of methodologies which we are using. So hope you guys understood and this session will be useful to you. And thank you for watching my sessions, and I will be meet you in the next session with the new topic. Until signing off, thank you, bye bye.